All right, Jeff. So could you walk us through, if it is somebody's first time going through an ERP implementation process, what does that process look like? Can you kind of walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't been through this, it's certainly a very daunting project. I think I've been through several. It's been my kind of the focus of my career in many ways. So each one you've done, you kind of lose a little bit sight of what it was like to do the first time. It can seem like an overwhelming challenge. And I think sometimes you've kind of got this pie in the sky of here's what we can achieve and we can get everything. So, I think that's the key. Starts out to, over your 6 months, year of trying to identify what sort of challenges that you don't think your existing systems can meet anymore, trying to build out that list and prioritize, both from here's what we'd like to get out of our system, as well as what is imperative that we keep, whether it's a current process or a current report or things along those lines, to try and identify what do you really want to get out of the system, and again, not just thinking about how to repeat what you're currently doing, but what is the ultimate outcome, and then letting the partner help you determine how to get there. So I think it's starting out, building out your checklist, building out your wish list, working with your team in your organization, both your subordinates as well as your peers, to say how can you help the finance team provide value to the other departments within the organization of data processing, data management, inevitably working with the IT team to say, what are the system requirements? Do we have an in-house network that we want to continue to utilize? Do we want to shift to the cloud? What are our security requirements? Are we in a heavily regulated organization that says we've got to have X, Y, and Z? Or we've got these distributed systems, and understanding what are the different systems that you're capturing data in, and kind of getting information about what are those versions, a lot of different elements, so you can try and bring that to the table of the different partners that you're talking to say, how can these be integrated? How can we extract data from one and put it into the other? So just kind of building out your checklists, kind of working with your team to try and understand the entire scope of really what do you want to hope to achieve, out of this system change. And again, prioritizing. Build that 20, 50 bullet wish list, but acknowledge that, we may not be able to achieve all of them. That you've got your 5, 10 that these are deal breakers, and then here's 10 or 20 that hey, these are really kind of key, and these may be the differentiators between we choose system A or system B, and then these extra 10, 20 that hey, if you can provide these, it's just kind of a little bonus. It's icing on the cake that allows us to help make someone else happy, or make someone's life a little bit easier, or provide some additional information that hadn't been provided before, to help you manage your business. So that all comes out. Then inevitably, like I said, you're going to kind of start doing your own research as to different systems. You're through this process of talking to your different partners, you're probably going to do some networking and reach out to peers outside of your organization, whether it's your accounting firm or your tax firm that does your taxes or does your audits. What systems are you familiar with? What have you worked with? What's worked well? Obviously your peers through your prior working relationships, or whether it's just general networking groups of within industry, within your field, whether it's an AICPA local organization, talking to them, finding out what systems work well for your system, your business side, things on those lines, and starting to do your research to identify those 3 to 5 systems that you think may fit your need. Then inevitably it goes into the individual research, and you starting to try to find a partner that will do those, that can manage those implementations, and starting the conversations with those, getting your initial conversations clear on
Mm-hmm.
to getting a proposal and a budget. And I think during that process, again, it's very important to clearly define the scope. Here's really what we
Yeah.
want to get out. Here's our 50 bullet wish list or our 20 bullet wish list. Tell us specifically which ones can you achieve, and then part of that wish list being very detailed. We've got to be able to capture at the employee department level, or we've got to be able to capture things at the location level. We've got 50 locations distributed across the Southeast, and we need to make sure that we can capture expenses and data and salaries and so on and so on for each location that we've got to be able to report. As I mentioned, that ERP implementation that went wrong when we were trying to work with the vendors, the partner that worked with our vendor, they started out and they were trying to capture data that was by product type, by by brand name, so on and so forth. Whereas when we were looking at it, we were looking at, what is the location? What is the location type? Is this a brick and mortar? Is this a pop-up, retail location? Is this our e-commerce location? Physically, what location is it at? So capturing your metric and your reporting needs by those specific definitions and making sure that those are communicated in your wish list. And then, so yeah, you kind of start having those conversations with partners and what is their availability like? What is their experience like? Have they worked with other firms at your size or your industry, or that are using similar software that you have? And then just kind of getting a good feel, do these people come across as very controlling? Hey, we're going to come in and just kind of take charge of everything, whereas you may like a more balanced and collaborative sort of approach versus, hey, we're super busy and we want someone to just take over and run everything. So there's lots of different scenarios that would fit your needs. So trying to identify that partner that suits you best, make sure that they're, again, giving you detailed responses to your requests, not just, yeah, we've done this before. Yes, we've worked in the healthcare industry before, and giving you a bunch of platitudes that kind of tries to gloss over their real understanding of your needs. And then, like I said, trying to recognize that inevitably there's going to be a hiccup along the way, and you need to kind of build in some padding for that in your timeline and things along those lines to say, are you going to have the bandwidth? If we roll this in 2 weeks later, are you going to be up to your ears in an audit or a budget meeting or any number of things? So trying to, kind of allow for the unexpected in your expectations. And then beyond that, let everyone do their thing, and try and help manage the responsibilities and build in your checkpoints to make sure things are going as expected. And then when it's all said and done, you've got a great opportunity and a great system that everybody's really excited to see what it'll do for you, and try and help you manage and grow your business.
No, that was great. I think some high key points that I heard was, I like that you said identify the pie in the sky, then go and build out your checklist, and figure out what you want to get out of it. What is the whole purpose of it, and then prioritize. So with that, that's like a step-by-step process, identifying the partner, and it all goes back to the whole being clear and concise with that identifying process. So that was great. Thank you.
Absolutely.